Hey, I want to welcome you to the Holy Week devotionals. This is our Wednesday Holy Week Devo, and I want to encourage you to read Matthew 24, verses 1 through 36. Let me tell you a few things that happen here in Matthew 24. We see that we are to trust the authority of Christ and to persevere in the power of Christ as we read this text. And this is based on the portrait that we see of Jesus in Matthew's gospel. We should long for the coming of Jesus. That's really what this entire section is all about. The realities of tribulation, the reality of deception, the reality of temptation and persecution, all of this creates anticipation for the believer. And so the more we live in this world, the more we long for Christ to come back to rescue us. And so this text leaves no doubt that the day of Jesus' return is evident to all. His coming is no secret. The angels of heaven will let out this trumpet blast, and everyone will behold the Son of Man in the sky. We read about this in verses 29 through 31. How different will this be from his first coming? Just consider every Christmas when we celebrate the birth of Jesus. We realize that he came to this remote and obscure town just outside of Jerusalem, where he went largely unnoticed, except for a few shepherds and a few animals that were present in that scene. His first time, he was lying in a manger. But this time, the second time, he'll come, as the word says, riding on the clouds. This is what was prophesied in Daniel centuries before this text that we read here in Matthew. Daniel 7:13 and 14 says, I saw one like the Son of Man coming with the clouds of heaven, approached the Ancient of Days, and was escorted before him. He was given authority to rule and glory and a kingdom, so that those of every people, nation, language should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will not be destroyed. So just as surely as Jesus came the first time in great humility to provide salvation, he will come a second time in all of his glory to execute judgment. And this is Matthew's reference here to the clouds of heaven. In verse 30, we see this not just as an allusion to Daniel 7, but throughout the entirety of the Old Testament, we see this picture of the pillar of cloud leading God's people in the Exodus from Egypt. And then we see at the end of Exodus, God's glory was revealed in a cloud that covered the tabernacle. And we see that God makes the clouds his chariot in Isaiah and depicts the Lord riding on a swift cloud. And so he will come to execute judgment. In verse 30, Jesus says that the tribes of the earth, many of them will mourn when they see him coming, because the day of his coming will be a day of judgment, which means, man, we have to be ready. We have to be ready for the return of Jesus. In this section, we also see the parable of the barren fig tree, and we see the representation there of a Christ who is to bring this perfect judgment. And so what does this do for us? Well, this text causes us to do a few things. First of all, we need to ask ourselves, what if that day were today? What if today Jesus came back? Would I be ready? If not, if you're not ready, man, there's time for you to repent and to believe in Jesus right now. If you're a genuine follower of Christ and you know that to be sure, are there things in your life that are present today that you need to repent of, sins that you're holding on to, that you're kind of allowing to hang out in your life, man, that you need to rid yourself of? Where are you today? What are you doing today that would cause you to be ashamed before Jesus if he were to return in this very moment? If you have some of those things, I'd just encourage you to let those go. I would encourage you to confess your sin, find the mercy that is present in Jesus so that you'll be ready for his coming. God bless you, church.